Essex St Dog Park. You might remember Ian Crystal. Crystal, can you say, Crystal, can you say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. This is Rich. We've got an important message for our friends at the dog park. Please have a listen to this. It's pretty extraordinary, but it's my life. Any help is appreciated, and if you could share this, that'd be amazing. Thank you so much. Hi there, parliamentarians of public office of the country. You're regarded as a public official and you're bound by obligations of the Charter of Human Rights for people with disabilities. Under that foundation of law, you cannot deny or, by any act of omission, conspire to silence or systemically victimise someone or cause detriment in any way. That would be a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which has already happened, and I'm going to have to prove somewhere because I haven't got much option. It is also systemic government oppression and victimisation. That is the kind of victimisation in which I had to reverse frame a bit of a movement to drop me off that led to my suicide attempt in Werribee Mercy Hospital in February 2021. It was deemed a lethal attempt and a fatal injury in the Freedom of Information documents that I had to really fight for, and it was heavily redacted. Both the Health Complaints Commissioner and the Mental Health Complaints Commissioner covered that up, as did the hospital, and condoned by the government as nothing to see. That's despite it being an agreed illegal contraband and abandoning duty of care. But anyway, look, I have a bit of an acquired brain injury. I think, well, I know, because of my memory, that has never been ledgered from that utter tragedy. And in the whole year since that, I've never even seen one psychologist. I don't know. Or a neurologist. I've been labelled with many diagnoses of mental illness in my life. The following people have ignored my pleas for justice, considering the detriment I have suffered. MP Birmingham, the Finance Minister, did not react to my detriment of compensation for the CDD scheme, and neither did the police. MP Reynolds from the NDIS refused to explain why it was over 50 of my invoices have not been paid, and this is a method which attacks me via proxy in financially, or why I don't have a local area coordinator, or why the Brotherhood of St Lawrence has rejected me. So, I don't know. MP Greg Hunt silenced evidence permissible before a court years ago, which was part of the movement that I was fighting. I've now realised it was permissible in a court of law and was not illegal. And he's not responded to me recently begging him for help. He's told me to go to the NDIS. MP Greg Hunt silenced... here we go. MP Social Services Minister Martin Foley has rejected me with silence and omission that sees me also without food or dignity or human value. MP and Attorney General Mclean refused to intervene when I begged her to do so in obvious corruption, which I proved with evidence that led to the loss of millions of dollars that I had to really reverse engineer, and I was set up to fail for many years, and then I realised, looking back, that was the case. So I've suffered great detriment. So the Australian Human Rights Commission and Liz Lindbergh, I lost over $1 million there for conciliation in a case which I was denied TPD and income assist. And that was due for conciliation, and due to some legislation I don't understand, they free kicked it to the other team, and that was it. But I know the government was involved because I asked the company straight up, and they gave me a payout. AFCA, they watched for years as I and knew I was in destitution before my suicide and after, knowing I was destitute, and in this it was conscious, malicious, and it was designed to disable me and condemn me. So I blew the whistle on Tim Goss and Peter Fisher, who did not come to determinations within 4 weeks, as is legislated for people who are financially bereft. But they were going for over 2 years. I begged them and HCF together and WorkCover to help me, but they all watched as I was further distressed, and I was framed in 2 VOCAT cases, which rendered my very important work with the NDIS illegitimate. That's because I'd been character assassinated and no one would acknowledge my work, and I loved that job, and I loved helping people, as I've done for 25 years. But I took a break, and my health complaints commission, my super fund didn't pay it for the income assist, because they said obviously through prejudice it was a prior existing condition, which it wasn't. It was because I was framed and because I was upset because my client had child sexual abuse issues and heinous child rapes and incest, and I was also tandemly going through my own sexual abuse case, which no one believed, i.e. because I'm crazy and I'm an extortionist, apparently, according to a lawyer of a GP who I called out for malpractice when I overdosed, when I was sad for the death of my very good friend Nathan. So anyway, I was going on a bit. My complaints were neutralised under the Attorney General's portfolio when I begged her to intervene with evidence, and like all, most see illness and they don't see justice. They refuse to have a responsibility to act, and they act by omission, and that causes me detriment. The Attorney General sent me to Lifeline. Comcare, they rejected my work cover case because of legislation I don't understand. Paul Fowler was the dude. Hi Paul. Ultimately rejected me. And WorkSafe in Victoria refused to help with my appeal at Comcare. They kept saying, go to Comcare, go to Comcare. And then I said, help me with Comcare, and they refused. Turns out that Paul Fowler's the old head at WorkSafe. Smells like corruption. Anyway, at ASIC, they accepted my bankruptcy to save the shame of my debts, and when I was going through the sexual abuse stuff, and I wanted to save the shame of my family after I had suicided. As cosmic ballet would have it, my abuser died, or one of them, 2 days after I lived, and I was found by accident unconscious and non-responsive with 0 observable pulse. It was detailed as a fatal injury and a lethal attempt, and sadly, as the taboo of death and sexual abuse goes, it was hurtful that my family attended the funeral of that man. Anyway, ASIC said I failed to recuperate money and it was my fault in avoiding my bankruptcy, when in fact it was denied by a movement to oppress me and attack me via proxy. And this was in a financial way. I'm a failed whistleblower at APRA. They said I had to be a government employee, and I sent them the evidence of my social security number and social services stuff, but they rejected my whistleblower status, and I'm also a rejected whistleblower at IBAC, at the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and ASIC as well, and I can't go to the police or get a lawyer. So I'm pretty screwed. The AAT, now today, they again set me up to fail. I've been begging them, it's been over a year now since the work cover case happened, and today, 30th of 3rd, 2022, I refused to be unrepresented against a government that had literally already oppressed me that much that it literally killed me, or it was a big contributor to that, and who has Kate Wilson, a 25-year experienced lawyer in the area of Comcare and government law, and she was there to further exploit me in an inequitable and unfair fight in which I'd been set up to fail. I explained to them as public officials they have a responsibility and an obligation to act within the Charter of Human Rights for people with a disability. And as a neurodiverse person and a person with a bit of a brain fart memory thing going on now, I abandoned that directions hearing, knowing full well I would fail, and I called out how it was unethical and they were breaking the law and denying me access to litigation. Now, they said I should have had litigation, but of course, in the last 30 years, I've never had one lawyer. Michaelia Cash was aware of all of this way ahead back, and she condones this work cover loss, which is probably a total permanent disability now of $1 million plus, which is, I don't know where it is now because I hung up and I said I would take it to the Supreme Court. At present, I have no food. I'm behind in rent, way behind in rent. I've actually survived on $22,000 a year since that hospitalisation, and I'd actually been on the DSP for something before, but they actually put me on job seeker after a suicide attempt when I was already on sick leave for the original reason, which was a way of kicking me in the head. And I have no food, and I have no money, and kind of no dignity. I'm a neurodiverse person, and I've had psychiatric labels categorised to me, and have an acquired brain injury from that fatal suicide that the government condoned as nothing to see by Ben Calder and the federal ombudsman. In a whole year since that happened, I cannot feel my feet. It's like I've got a pair of dull socks on. And imagine what it's done to my brain. Currently, as of today's date, it's the 30th. It's my birthday in a week and a bit. Happy birthday to me. I have no food. I have no money. I'm in debt again. I'm squatting. I have not enough medication. I don't have the right to exist. I have no human dignity. I am systemically victimised and vilified over years and years. I'm a scapegoat. I've been oppressed systemically by government agencies, and it's getting pretty good at them, I must say. I've been exploited. I've been discriminated against, fired. It's actual torture. I've been having death threats at the door. I've been publicly humiliated, robbed of millions of dollars, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, character assassinated. I've been drugged, treated with contempt, banned from police from reporting absolutely bloody anything. But even though they harass me with the Mental Health Act, which is a law, but there are other laws by the many that have been broken all the way along, and I've been pretty much left to die. So I'll just go on to the next bit. My family's abandoned me. They mean well, but they just don't understand it. They're very simple people, and they're quite xenophobic and consciously choose ignorance, where I'm the opposite. I just go right out on the other limb. But that's partly, I'm grateful for that, because they showed me to look out for new horizons. So father says he cannot help. Mother says, watch yourself. The NDIS are going to look after you. Be nice to them. But of course, I've tried to explain to her the NDIS minister condones me to vagrancy and sends me to a homeless shelter. They attended my child sex abuser's funeral, which is really not their fault. They've known them for a long time. It's a difficult ethical situation, but it hurt me. My sister says I'm a druggo and a schizo and get the fuck out of our lives. At least she's honest, you know. I admire how ballsy she is. My brother says, you don't live within your means. Even though he's well aware that I'm in deficit for even existing. So that's Brad. Now there's another interjection here, a couple of things. Former partner and fiance, Steve Isonides, 11th for the 12th, 1972, was an ASIC agent and owes me like a settlement from our 5-year plus relationship. Now, he threatened a hitman on me. He left me with his dying dog, and he already escaped with his new lover. Now, everywhere I went to try and atone that legally, there was an excuse or something not to get involved, or I was dropped, or I was stopped in my tracks. And just before I was incarcerated by my family in February 2021, I called out that he owes me detriment and hiding, and I blew the whistle, and then he confessed to me he was at a murder. and dealt cocaine, for which he went to drug rehab. He used the money to buy a home in Abbotsford, but I told him to sell it because it's bad juju. And he sold it, but he invested the money in a tax haven. By then he was working for ASIO. He's a very intelligent, charming man. And they issued him with a fine, avoiding jail time. A mystery respondent replied angrily on my website, and I've published that on the website killhim.info. As I was desperate to survive, my HCF insurer denied delay defer tactics not to pay me my income assist for a prior, because they said it was a prior illness. Obviously, I'm easily exploitable. It's been a year, and they've banned me from calling them, put me under investigation, and I've even called out the head Sheena Jack with fraudulent documents concealing what they owe me and threatening them with legal action. But they too know that I'm rendered a neutral refugee, unable to go to police or a lawyer or indeed an ombudsman or the police or anyone at all. So I'm kind of trapped. Now I have nothing. The delay, defer, deny model from the government's kind of fatally flawed. Well, I actually am not suicidal because it's the 30th today. I got out of hospital again because I was incarcerated as someone wanting to kill themselves when they're appropriating pure desperation for illness. And this is systemic oppression, which is against the law. Now, I kind of pulled one on the hospital because they said I'd been framed. I'd been warned that if I go in again, they'll frame me with a crime and lock me up forever because I know too much. Anyway, I said to the psychiatrist, I'm not at all a danger to myself or others. And then I said, I'm going to stay right here in hospital as a sick man until I get whistleblower protection. And he goes, ooh. And then he kind of said, oh, you're kind of really not a risk. You don't suit the criteria. You can go. And I went, oh, thanks for that. So then that was up and out. Haven't heard from anyone since. And so I just got out yesterday. I finally got my dog back. Crystal, still there. Crystal, can you say hello? Crystal! Crystal! Can you say, I love you? I love you! There she is. That's Crystal. She's my dog. So the arm of the hospital saltwater clinic has been oppressing me with the police, and I was on the run for a few days. I went to Bendigo to escape from what I thought would be permanent incarceration, and really they have not crossed the floor for the abandonment of duty of care and the opposition to the Charter of Human Rights, in that when I was in hospital 2 times ago, I utilised an agreed illegal contraband to really oppose living in my distress of being framed by absolutely everyone. Now, the hospital had already rejected me, and I was no longer on their books. So I kept saying, why are you hassling me? Like, I'm a doctor. Like, I'm an allied health professional for the NDIS. Like, how are you able to put me away? And they said it was for the Mental Health Act. So, but lots of other acts have been ripped up. Anyway, they conspired to act together in my poverty, dressed up as illness, to incarcerate me again. My lovely sister. I'd not seen her in a year. And my parents and I were forced to submit to my sister and I, hang on. I was forced to submit to their authority via the Mental Health Act anyway. But I changed my name in the meantime and forbid them any control over my life, but it didn't stop them getting me in the 3rd time. My family, I've gone over that. I think I feel like I've shamed them in their life because I'm a quite outrageous and decadent person sometimes, and it goes against the politics of the family unit. So I think I've brought shame to them, but I think that's why they punish me. But anyway, the complexities of having a gay relationship and a sexually abused person with a mental illness is, I think, it's too much for them to comprehend. And for want of a better reason, I love my family, but I think they think it's easier just to not have me around. Anyway, I offered an atonement with the CEO, Dave Stevenson, of the Werribee Hospital, for the abrupt and unexpected fatality from which I was found by accident and no observable pulse and revived. and he refused just an acknowledgement that it had happened, and told me to sue him directly. He's absolutely and utterly aware, as everyone is, I can't go to police. I can't go to lawyer. I cannot be a whistleblower at ASIC, APRA, IBAC, or the Commonwealth Ombudsman. No one will defend my justice issues, and instead they prefer to see me as ill, where induced poverty is happening to me. Like, I've got nothing. And it's doing so to protect murders and pedophiles. In that, crimes I've reported fail the Charter of Human Rights of public officials who have an obligation to report under the Charter of Human Rights of people with a disability and act within human rights law. That is my issue. I've got nothing left to lose. I've got sentience, and I kind of believe I'm going to be framed for something that I haven't done, because I'm very exploitable and I'm very honest. But anyway, I can't get refunds from NDIS Minister, and Reynolds condones this. I can't get intervention from MP Birmingham. I haven't got a local area coordinator for the NDIS. I've absolutely no supports. The Attorney General knows what's going on. You know, I've lost millions of dollars, VOCAT cases. A malicious and systemic conspiracy literally has robbed me of my job, my reputation, every cent, and justice in every respect. And millions of dollars and my very human worth, catastrophic character assassination. And I've run out of friends because they all think I ring up and beg them for money, which I do, but that's because I'm oppressed. So I've said here, quite angrily, but in a nice way, I'll no longer be society's scapegoat. This is what I would like, or demand. I demand whistleblower protection. I need a house to stay in. Like, a government can't kick a human rights awarded PhD doctorate scholar out on the street because they've oppressed him. That's ridiculous. I'd like the freedom from being sued or hospitalisation or incarceration, because I'm not a danger to myself or anyone else, and wouldn't punch my way out of a wet paper bag. I'm a bit of a Buddhist. I want freedom to pursue litigation of all my justice issues, and I'll be very nice. I demand, well, I think it's law that in the Charter of Human Rights of People with Disability that I need a home. I need to be free from death threats. They come to the door. They know where I live, let me tell you. And I need to be in a livable place that's non-traceable, because everyone knows where I am and I'm oppressed. I need freedom from this systemic government oppression. I would be really happy. Oh, freedom from victimisation. That's another one. Like, everyone I know has a bad story about me. Like, it's character assassination. It's so bad. Food, medication, and basic needs met. I don't want much. I'm on a pension. That eclipses the rent here. I don't have enough to even exist. And it's been like that for a whole year. And more. And now the government's suing me for publishing things on a website that were literally saving my own ass. The Prime Minister and Cabinet's office is, I thought I could get my freedom of information, which may explain why my life's happened this way, and reveal the way it is, and they've been deferred until my birthday by the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner. Anyway, that's my little rant. In addition, I'm in Victoria, and it's not an offence to record a conversation under the Surveillance Act 1999 in this state, and I've had to preserve my sanity and my last shreds of human value, dignity, and, well, I've suffered malnourishment at the hands of this oppression. This is bad. And you don't know me. And the government pawns all people that actually believe the libel and slander, and they deny my justice and dignity, are literally paid by the government, like, kind of, I don't know, cheap hookers to toe the part. I shouldn't say hookers, they're sex workers, I respect them. To the government to toe the party line in order to oppress and victimise me. And I think that amount of virtuous, complicit wealth and to just singularly just flick someone off like that, like me, but have it done through the whole of society, is a really cowardly thing to do. I think it's an act of the privileged, and it's really nasty. It's a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. I've already proven that on killhim.info. But I'm resilient, powerful, and there are thousands of sheeple, I call them sheeple, complicit in this, and I think that's poor character. Now, unless a parliamentarian intervenes, I'll have to go to the Supreme Court. Like, I've got no other option. I can't go to work because I'm doomed and character assassinated and got a forgetful head. And in the meantime, can someone please advise me how I will pay my 5-month behind rent and actually eat with dignity? I don't know, I've got to feed the dog too. I love Crystal the Husky, and I'll do anything just to live a simple life free from oppression. I'm hungry right now, I'm squatting. I'm a doctor and a 25-year plus advocate for those more marginalised than me. Can someone please help me? What are you waiting for? From Dr. Rich Mclean. But I just want to say in parting, I'll believe I'll be framed with a crime I've not committed that will be kind of faction, half fact, half fiction, and that I'll be incarcerated anyway because I know too much. And this is why they're trying to oppress me and kill me, hence the site killhim.info. I have no choice but to keep going on this quest. After all, as a nice shaman said to me, no one can take your soul. You can see my prior self at richmclean.com.au, and you can see my advocacy and altruism and my many years of advocacy for recovery, and my art and writing and PhD and music and other things, and the other website I've made where every shred of evidence I've just said is on killhim.info. That's the place that holds all the proof. I beg of you, if you could simply atone me by the CDD scheme, which is a compensation scheme by the government, just a suitable home with my dog, free from persecution, with an above average monthly wage, because I'm literally owed millions and millions of dollars. Whilst the government works out the detriment, I'm going to let the whole thing rest. Everyone gets forgiven. No one goes to jail. Everyone gets forgiven. Otherwise, I have no other way of moving forward unless I'm able to access a alleged narrative of this heinous oppression via justice in the Supreme Court. And I need to eat while that happens. So, can anyone help me? Can anyone help? Me and Crystal? Crystal! Crystal, can you say, I love you? Crystal, can you say, I love you? We love life. We don't like being locked up or oppressed, or systemically oppressed, or we don't like being hated on, because I'm an acute, sensitive person and I feel it. And we love people, but they've kind of let us down a bit. And we love democracy, equality, equity, and we love justice. And we're good people, me and Crystal. Have a look at the websites. Please help me out if you can. Thank you for listening. Bye.